Oh, hi, Kelly. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Oh, great. I've got to tell you, Ryan gave us quite the show today, did he not?
Yes, ma'am.
I can tell Ryan probably gives us a nice show every day.
And yes, he comes in a different mood every day. You never know what to expect.
Well, he seemed to enjoy the lesson, and once he finally kind of calmed down a little, he seemed to really be engaged in the lesson, too.
That's one thing about Ryan. You always have to remind him of the rules. You have to remind him where he's supposed to be and what his rules are.
Exactly. And
So-
reinforcing that throughout the lesson.
And
Which
it doesn't
I
hurt.
noticed.
It doesn't hurt for the other ones to hear it either. But
Well, we can all deal with some reminders. Well, I liked the lesson. I could see that you were really emphasizing the TH sound today. And I feel like there was some prior knowledge that they were familiar with the sound, but I liked how you emphasized and how you talked about how it comes sometimes at the beginning of the word, sometimes at the end of the word. And it was a good lesson. And all the children really seemed to be engaged in the lesson. Ryan, as we talked about, had to be kind of reminded, but he was getting the lesson.
Right.
If you could kind of talk back and let's think about your lesson. How did you decide to come into this particular lesson?
This lesson, it actually is in the pacing of our the program that we use. But when I got to looking at several of the students, just where they are in the pacing of on the computer program and everything,
Right.
it showed that they all had this lesson. So I decided this would be a good lesson to teach,
Right.
as just like an extra to go through because so many of them had trouble with the TH sound.
Right.
And
right.
it's part of Brian's IEP that we work on the TH sound this next semester.
Right.
And so I just thought it'd be good to have just that little extra push.
Yes, okay, great. Well, I like how you use your small group setting, and I feel like, especially with this age group, they do get a lot from each other, and you're able to keep their focus a little bit more than in a large whole group lesson or
Right.
something like this.
Right.
If you can talk to us a little bit about, I liked how you would have them actually tell you where the sound was in the word. Can you elaborate a little bit about that?
Okay. So they really enjoyed playing the game where you had the raise your hand if you hear it at the beginning, or clap your hands if you hear
I
it
love
at the
that
end.
too.
And it was a game, and so it was like, let's see who can get it first.
Exactly.
And so,
That little competitive nature never
right, that
hurts.
competitive nature came out in all of them, and so it was really fun to see them get excited about doing this part of the lesson. That's why I spent more time on just the actual sound for this lesson instead of actually going on to the word building and all that, because I felt like they needed to get that.
You were
that
truly
phoning-
focused on the auditory.
The auditory. I wanted to get that auditory for the first day before we went on to anything else, and that's the reason why I mainly stayed just with the phonemes and the sounds, because I didn't want to necessarily add the letters yet.
Right.
I wanted to stay just with the sounds, what they hear.
I love that. And
And
they were
so-
all engaged, and they were all just willing participants in this lesson. Wasn't anybody off task. So, and you could tell that Ryan was having a ball. So, congratulations for you about that. Now, on your independent practice, I noticed that you tied in the computer.
Right.
Of course, they were thrilled about that.
Right. Systems 44 has a software program that they have to get on. It's called the Code, and they get on and they work the code. And in the code, it has like spelling games and just plain oral, where they have to identify. It says the word and they have to identify the word.
Right.
Or they listen to the word and have to identify the word. And so that they go on there and they're supposed to spend about 15 minutes every class period
Oh, is that right? Okay.
on this, but sometimes we don't get to that.
Well, what I loved about your lesson is it just went right, just lend itself right into that lesson on the computer, because you were that interactive,
Right.
raising your hand and then going right into that lesson, listening
Right.
for that TH sound.
They
On the
they,
computer
they
lesson.
love to get on the computer.
They all do.
The only part they don't like about it is when they have to say the sounds to the computer.
Oh.
They would rather say the sounds to me in group.
Well, I guess they just feel
But
like
they-
that's not realistic.
They don't want to say the sounds to the computer.
Mhm. My favorite part of your lesson, though, is when the students were actually leaving the classroom, and before they could leave, they had to give you a beginning sound with TH and an ending sound. And I liked it that they were trying to make sure that they didn't repeat what their friends said,
Right.
that really made them have to be focused on what they were doing.
Mhm.
Where'd you come up with that idea?
Well, and our principal likes for us to do exit tickets.
Yeah.
When they leave the room, and since we didn't really work with letters
Mhm.
or words, we just worked with sounds. I felt like that it would be better for them to just tell me a word that had began with TH and a word that ended with TH.
Mhm.
And so, and those ending TH words, there's not very many ending TH words, so they were really having to work
Concentrate.
and listen to what somebody in
Mhm.
front of them were saying, so they didn't say the exact same words.
Right. I love that.
And and I kind of gave them a heads up before that they were going to have to do that. It wasn't like spur of the moment. They knew during the lesson to be thinking of words that started with TH and ended with TH. So
Have you
they could
used
tell.
this practice with other lessons that you've done too before about as an exit ticket?
Yes.
Actually doing that verbal,
Yeah, we
oral kind of assessment.
Yeah, we've done that. I mean, that way I can see that they're actually getting it.
Immediately. There's
Immediately.
no waiting to see. It's
Right.
immediate.
Then I don't have to go back and listen to them on the computer. I can actually see them face to face telling me the word.
Is there anything that, now that the lesson is over, and especially with Ryan, that maybe the next time you might do a little differently?
The pacing.
Okay.
I tend to use that teachable moment a lot longer than I should sometimes.
We all do. But
But,
sometimes it's beneficial.
On this lesson, I really felt like it was important for them to get that sound before we moved on to the rest of
And you're
it.
exactly right. Well, it was a great lesson, and I'm very proud of your lesson.
All right.
And thank you.
Thank you.